Millions of savvy motorists deliberately buy 20-year-old cars to exploit the pre-screen loophole, opting out of the sophisticated telematics in modern vehicles to protect their privacy, their wallets, and their freedom. While everyone else gets tracked, monitored, and charged premium prices for the privilege, these drivers found a way out. The loophole works like this. Cars manufactured before around 2015 generally lack the sophisticated telematic systems that turn modern vehicles into what privacy experts now call wiretaps on wheels. By choosing older cars, drivers can completely sidestep the massive surveillance apparatus that has quietly invaded every new vehicle rolling off production lines today. But this is not just about privacy paranoia. This is about a fundamental shift in how cars work, how much they cost, and what rights you have when you buy one. And that window to take advantage of this loophole is rapidly closing. Let's start with the privacy crisis that most drivers do not even know they are facing. The Mozilla Foundation, the organization behind the Firefox browser, recently conducted the most comprehensive study ever done on automotive privacy. Their conclusion shocked everyone. All 25 car brands they researched earned Mozilla's Privacy Not Included warning label, making cars officially the worst category of products Mozilla has ever reviewed for privacy. Think about that for a moment. Dating apps have better privacy protections than your car. Sex toys publish more detailed security information than the vehicle sitting in your driveway. Jen Caltrider, Mozilla's research lead, said cars seem to have really flown under the privacy radar. And she is really hoping that Mozilla can help remedy that, because they are truly awful. Cars have microphones, and people have all kinds of sensitive conversations in them. Cars have cameras that face inward and outward. The data collection happening in modern cars is breathtakingly invasive. Nissan, for example, admits to collecting sensitive personal information, including driver's license numbers, immigration status, race, sexual orientation, and health diagnoses. They can share inferences drawn from this data to create profiles that reflect a consumer's preferences, characteristics, psychological trends, predispositions, behavior, attitudes, intelligence, abilities, and aptitudes. But here is where it gets really disturbing. Simply being a passenger in someone else's connected car can be considered consent to data collection. Subaru's policy states that if you are a passenger, you automatically become a user who has agreed to the car's privacy terms by default. The financial incentives driving this surveillance are staggering. McKinsey & Company projects that the global market for car data monetization will balloon to between $450 billion and $750 billion by 2030. That is not a typo. We are talking about $750 billion in revenue generated from selling your personal information. And this brings us to the insurance scandal that finally woke people up to what's really happening. In March 2024, investigative reporting revealed that General Motors had been secretly collecting driving data from millions of customers through their OnStar system and selling it to insurance companies without explicit consent. The results devastated drivers. General Motors customers reported insurance rate increases of 20 to 25% seemingly out of nowhere. Some had their policies canceled entirely. Romeo Chico, a Florida driver, says his insurance rate doubled because General Motors and OnStar collected his driving data without permission and shared it with LexisNexis Risk Solutions. One lawsuit states that the plaintiff would not have even bought the Cadillac vehicle to begin with had he known of this grave invasion of privacy. Multiple class action suits followed, and General Motors was forced to terminate all partnerships with data brokers in March 2024, but only after getting caught. The timing of this scandal could not be more significant because it is about to get much worse. The 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act includes a mandate that will require all new passenger vehicles to include surveillance technology that monitors driver alertness and sobriety. This is not optional equipment. It is mandatory federal law. The technology involves infrared cameras mounted on steering columns or dashboard pillars that track eye movement, pupil dilation, and drowsiness patterns. Unlike breathalyzer interlocks used for driving under the influence convictions, these systems operate passively on every drive. The rollout is expected between late 2026 and 2027, and these systems will be updatable through over-the-air patches, meaning their monitoring capabilities can expand after purchase. This is where the pre-screen loophole becomes crucial. By buying a car manufactured before these surveillance systems became standard, drivers can completely avoid this monitoring infrastructure. As Mozilla's Jen Caltrider puts it, if you're really concerned about your privacy, your best bet is simply buying an older model, the kind with a tape deck or CD player. The financial argument for older cars has never been stronger. The average transaction price for a new vehicle hit an all-time high of over $50,000 at the end of 2025. The average car payment is now $772 for a new car, and a record 20.3% of new car buyers are committing to monthly payments of $1,000 or more. These astronomical prices mean that families with household incomes above $150,000 bought 43% of new vehicles last year, up from just 30% in 2019. New cars are increasingly becoming luxury items for the wealthy, while everyone else is being pushed into older vehicles anyway. But here is what many people do not realize. This trend toward older cars might actually be a smart financial strategy. An older car that is 5 years or more old has typically lost 60% of its original value, making it much more affordable. The average age of cars on American roads has climbed to a record 12.6 years in 2024, and S&P Global Mobility predicts that vehicles between 6 and 15 years old will represent 70% or more of all vehicles in operation for the next 5 years. The repair advantages of older cars are significant too. Parts for popular classic cars are readily available thanks to a dedicated aftermarket parts industry. Many repairs on older cars require basic tools rather than specialized diagnostic equipment that only dealerships can access. As one mechanic explained, the more electronics and computer-controlled parts you fit to a car, the more dependent that car becomes on the manufacturer. If it develops a fault, the more you need to spend with the maker of the car to put things right, since for most people it is far beyond their understanding to fix the problem. The privacy benefits extend beyond avoiding surveillance. Andrea Amico, founder of Privacy4Cars, discovered that extracting personal data from vehicles is so simple that he taught his 8-year-old daughter how to pull text messages from her mother's car. Modern cars store incredible amounts of personal information, and deleting it can require anywhere from 3 to 50 different steps depending on the vehicle. But that window for exploiting the pre-screen loophole is closing fast. By 2030, more than 95% of passenger cars sold will have embedded connectivity, up from around 50% today. The automotive data monetization market is exploding, growing from $6.41 billion in 2024 to an expected $29.13 billion by 2030. Albert Fox Kahn, a technology and human rights fellow at Harvard, summed up the situation perfectly. Increasingly, most cars are wiretaps on wheels. For drivers who value their privacy and their financial freedom and their right to travel without surveillance, buying a 20-year-old car isn't just a smart choice. It might be the last chance to own a vehicle that truly belongs to you. The pre-screen loophole exists because automakers have not yet figured out how to retrofit older cars with modern surveillance systems. But that loophole will not last forever. Every year that passes, fewer vehicles made before 2015 remain available in decent condition. Smart drivers understand this. They are buying now while they still can, before the surveillance state becomes inescapable and ownership becomes just another word for subscription to corporate monitoring. The choice is yours. Pay premium prices to be surveyed or find freedom in the past. Decide quickly. Time is running out.